So lots of offices on lockdown. Well, not really lockdown, but more like fun out, thin out. A lot of folks are finding ways to keep business running and the ball rolling. Electronic contracts and signatures are one such way. Here to explain the concept a little further, Myers, Fletcher and Gordon associate Kerri-Anne Mayne joins us online. Good morning, Kerri-Anne. How are you?
Hi, good morning, Simone. I'm doing well. How are you?
Oh, that's a nice picture. Hoping all is well with you this morning.
Thank you. Yes, all is well with me.
Excellent. Are you guys working from home or are you working remotely?
So, majority of us are working remotely, but there are some persons in office to receive documents and help with administrative functions.
Okay, so then this is as much front and center for you guys as it is for everybody else, and maybe more so for legal firms, no? Because contracts are your business.
Absolutely.
How are you adjusting in this time where things have to be done differently?
Right. So, the firm is definitely, well, we had business contingency plans in place once we saw everything that was going on. So I think those have definitely had to be put into action. And in relation to our clients, we're trying to facilitate them as best as we can, present options to them. But as you know, business is affected in many other countries, so that does affect things from day to day, but we're doing the best that we can.
Right. So you made an important point there, the importance of what we call BCP, business continuity plans that build things like this into the plan. What should happen if folks aren't at the brick and mortar facilities? How do you approve invoices? How do you sign contracts? So we're talking about e-contracts and signatures now, because again, this is one of the things that people have to keep going even while they're not physically in office. So tell us a little bit about the implications of an e-contract and e-signature. What are the general principles of contract law as it speaks to both?
Sure. So in relation to e-contracts and e-signatures, the fact is that the Electronic Transactions Act of 2007, which you would have seen me refer to in an article that was published last week, it allows e-contracts and e-signatures to be recognized in Jamaica. So in certain circumstances, once the criteria in the act are met, then persons can have valid e-contracts and e-signatures.
Okay, what are those? You said once the criteria are met, what are those elements that have to be done for it to be valid?
In relation to e-signatures, the act states several criteria, which include the document that you would like the signature to be affixed to. That document must be electronic in nature. The method that you use to affix the signature must be one that identifies the person and allows you to be able to see their approval. That method must be reliable, having regard to the circumstances and the purposes of the document. And when the government is a party, interestingly, the Act specifically states that if the government has specific information technology requirements, those must be met. And when the government is not a party, the parties to that agreement must agree to the method that is chosen.
Okay, so let's break that down a little further, Kerri-Anne. So you and I have a contract. It's something that I need you to sign. Tell me, just walk me through. I would draft the contract. I would send it to you electronically.
Right.
We would decide on which software we're going to use to provide for the electronic signature, right?
Exactly.
Okay.
Exactly. So there are a number of software available online, and we would definitely encourage persons to do their research and find what is best for them. You would identify that software and transmit the document electronically. The software would effectively be the method, and that method must allow you to identify the person and allow you to be able to affix a signature to show their approval. And depending on the transaction, so for example, you may have a simple form that could require just a signature that is drawn versus a more complex transaction that requires you to have a signature that is what we call encrypted, and that provides a high level of security.
Okay, so tell me the difference between the two. The one that's drawn.
Versus the encrypted one?
Yes.
Sure. So the one that's drawn, depending on the software that you're using, it's just a matter of someone taking up what you would say like a tablet pen or their finger,
Right.
and they draw their signature onto the document. And persons have other ways of inserting what the picture of the signature into the document.
Okay.
But for the encrypted signature, what our app allows is that you can use certain software that allows you to uniquely identify a person, and they would enter onto the platform and insert what you call a key or a code, and that allows them to sign the document. They're the only person who's supposed to, what the act is that the account must be linked to that person specifically. That person is the only person who should have access to the code, and in fact, if it's found that that person, for some reason, someone comes into access of that code, they have to actually report to the person who they have agreement to sign documents electronically. So it's there's specific criteria listed in the act, and you would have to meet all of them, including what I just said.
Yeah, so the encrypted one is the most safe one to use, and therefore would that be the one that you would recommend to anybody who is going this route? Because security is a huge issue right now, because a lot of folks have to be going this route because they're not in the offices. As far as security is concerned, what would your recommendation be to people who go this route, Kerri-Anne?
Right. So if it is that you know that the nature of your transaction is such that there's a large value, it's very complex, and you're definitely concerned about that security aspect, we would definitely expect you to consider using encrypted signatures. There may be some transactions where you may not have to go that route because there's some costs associated with that depending on the platform that you use. So as I said earlier, businesses really have to look at the options that are available to them, having regard to what they do in their business, the reasons why they would need the signature, and choose what's most appropriate in the circumstances.
Okay, finally, we have to go, but I want to ask you, is there any situation where you cannot use an e-contract or an e-signature where it would not apply?
Definitely. So the act states that there are 4 transactions that you're not allowed to agree to use e-signatures or e-contracts. So these include transactions with wills and testamentary instruments. So you can't sign your will, revoke your will, amend your will via using electronic medium. There's also documents involving conveyances and transfer of real property, trusts and power of attorney, and documents that are governed by the CPR or any other rules of the court.
Okay. Gotcha. Very useful information. Thank you very much, Kerri-Anne. Appreciate it.
Not a problem, and thank you for having me.
Thank you. Associate with Maya's Veteran Gordon, Kerri-Anne Mayne with us this morning. Still on Web Matters, we're talking about your digital security. We just touched on it, but we're going to go into that a little further on the other side of this break. Smart Jamaica returns in just a moment.